Ready to see some amazing experiments?
Yes! A triumph!
We're going to show you how your incredible body works. Just don't try anything you see here at home. Today, we're looking at a big skin mystery.
You okay, Chris?
Yep, I'm just helping my body to get rid of a few thousand dead skin cells.
Okay.
As I scratch my skin, the top layer is flaking off into the air.
Yes, I can see that, Chris, but why? Your body already does that all by itself to make way for new skin cells. In fact, as it grows, skin sheds 50,000 dead cells every single minute, totally replenishing itself every 4 weeks.
Yes, I know, Xand. I know all your skin facts. I told you most of them.
Okay, well, why are you flaking off your skin then?
Because, Xand, I am trying to solve, once and for all, a question that has puzzled humankind throughout the ages. Since ancient times, we have searched, nay, quested.
Yes, that's right, Chris. Throughout history, legions of scientists have been desperate to answer this one burning question. What is the question?
Why does the skin on our fingers and toes go wrinkly in the bath?
Yes, I have always wondered about that.
Exactly. The answer just has to be out there somewhere.
Well, I have heard tell of a new scientific theory in which you may be interested. This, Chris, could hold the key that unlocks the riddle.
Really?
And it's all to do with this. Now, take hold of that.
Ugh.
There has been a big new research study into this skin mystery, and their results suggested that our fingers and toes get wrinkly to help you grip wet things. Like the grooves on this tyre, the wrinkles in wet skin create little channels for the water to escape, giving you more grip on a wet surface.
Well, I don't believe it.
I didn't say put the tyre down. I think the only thing for us to do is put it to the test like proper scientists.
Can I put it down now?
No. There we go.
Xand, what are you doing?
Well, I'm getting ready to test the why do our fingers go wrinkly in the bath theory, obviously.
Right, we don't actually need to have a bath to do that, though. If you'd bothered to read this research carefully, then you'd see we simply need to replicate the real experiment that the other scientists use here. Right?
Obviously.
I'm not convinced myself, but let's put this wrinkly finger theory to the test.
Are you ready, Xand?
I'm ready. Go!
Using just our thumbs and forefingers, we're moving wet objects from one bowl to another through the screen. First, we're timing how long it takes us with smooth, non-wrinkly fingers. I know it's not a race, but I really want to beat you, Chris.
Yes! No!
So, my time for smooth, non-wrinkly fingers was 32 seconds. And mine was 35 seconds.
Now, we'll repeat exactly the same experiment, but with wrinkly fingers. So, we need to soak them like when you've had a bath. I'm thinking I might just use a bowl of warm water to pop our fingers in. Now, Xand, what are you doing?
I'm having a bath. You said we needed our fingers to be wrinkly, like in the bath.
Right, but we only need to soak our hands in a bowl of warm water, not our whole bodies.
Well, now that I'm in, it seems like a shame not to have a soak.
So our hands are having some quality warm water time, ensuring our fingers are really wrinkly for the next part of the experiment. After 10 minutes, things are looking super shriveled. Let's put those pinkies through their paces.
3, 2, 1, go!
If the new theory is right, our wrinkly fingers will be better at gripping, and so we'll do the experiment quicker than before.
Done! Oh.
Well, Xand, it may have been a dead heat, but how did our non-wrinkly fingers compare to our wrinkly fingers?
Well, I can reveal that we both had the same wrinkly finger time, which was 41 seconds, slower than before. Which means the answer to the mystery of why your fingers go wrinkly in the bath is still a mystery.
And talking of baths, I think my fingers need just a little more bath time. Chris?
At the clinic, Xand is open for business.
Next patient, please.
First in is 9-year-old Poppy with an interesting ailment.
So, Poppy, what have you come to see us for?
I got some strange red spots on my face and my arms.
What's the diagnosis, Doc?
Sounds like a case of I've got some strange red spots on my face and my arms-itis.
Spot on.
Now let's have a look at them. I've got the ouch cam here, and I can see it right there on your face. Do you think it looks like a spider?
A little bit.
Well, in fact, it's called a spider nevus because some people say it looks a little bit like a spider. It's got little blood vessels coming out of it, so you can kind of see spiders' legs. So the blood vessels that are supplying blood to your skin, one of them's got a bit big, and it's bringing more blood than it should to the skin. And so all the tiny blood vessels in your skin, called capillaries, have got a bit bigger, and so they're a bit more red. So you said you had some other red spots. Can you show me those? Oh, okay, so you've got 2 on your arm right there. I've got 2 almost in exactly the same place. Now, those are actually a different kind of red spot called a Campbell de Morgan spot. They're also completely normal. Almost everyone has got some of those.
How can I get rid of them?
The one on your face, sometimes when you just get older, they go away. If it doesn't go away, there are 2 things you can do. One is you can get a doctor to stick a needle in it, and that'll make it bleed a little bit, and then it'll go away, and it doesn't hurt very much at all. And the other way of getting rid of them is with a laser. But for you, it's completely normal, they're completely common. And I'll tell you one famous person who's got one, Dr. Chris. Poppy, thank you very much for coming to the Ouchmobile today.
Thank you, Dr. Xand.
Now it's time for Chris to show you a hospital department you've never seen before.
A spot! Normally this would be a disaster, but today I'm on duty at the skin clinic so I can get this checked out.
And Nurse Debbie Woodcock is ready for emergencies just like this.
Right, now I'm just going to have a look at it with my magnifying glass, which looks right into your skin. OK? Yeah, that just looks like a simple pimple.
It's not the worst you've ever seen.
Nothing to worry about.
I really want to squeeze it.
Don't squeeze your spots. No, because what if your hands aren't clean? And then you go like that and go, and all the gunge comes out of the spot like we want it to, but all your fingers, under all your nails, you might have lots of germs. And then when you squeeze it, all the pus might go out, but then you've left a hole and all the germs might go in.
So what you're saying is I'm going to have to live with this for another couple of days?
Yeah, oh, Chris, it's just a simple pimple. I think you'll survive.
OK, enough about my skin complaint. At the dermatology unit, they look at skin. It's our largest organ, and it provides a protective layer all over our bodies. But, like anything in the human body, things can go wrong. Rachel comes into the clinic with some very sore patches on her legs. Nurse Sophie Dolman takes a look.
So this is typical of eczema, and that layer of skin that keeps the moisture in isn't working, and so your skin is really dehydrated.
Eczema is a very common problem. It makes the skin dry, itchy and sore, and bad patches can get infected if not looked after properly.
So, Rachel, you've tried lots of creams and they haven't worked. So why haven't the creams that Rachel's tried previously
They haven't been strong enough, basically.
Help is at hand with a special moisturising treatment.
Debbie and Amy have put on some very, very strong moisturising cream and some steroids onto the eczema. And the steroids are going to damp down the inflammation, and they work better if they're kept against the skin. And now they're bandaging it all up, because otherwise everything would get very greasy.
Next in is Daniel, who's had a rare skin condition since birth, which causes his skin to blister very easily. It's not infectious, but it is serious, and the symptoms need to be kept under control.
I can see that you've got dry skin on your face and on your neck and on your hands. Why have you got the dry skin?
My skin produces too much on my joints and doesn't produce enough where it looks normal.
What kind of things does it stop you doing?
I weren't allowed to do PE in school. When I walk far, I come out in blisters and...
On your feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
My feet are the worst bit.
Can you show me where you've got the condition?
My elbows, my hands.
So you're making too much skin?
Yeah.
So this is Dan's hand, this is my hand, and everywhere there are creases, everywhere the skin folds on Dan's hand, he makes too much skin, and this is what he has to rub off with the moisturising cream. Obviously, this is quite a tough thing to live with. How do you manage?
I just get on with it and cope the best I can with it.
Do you ever get self-conscious about it?
No, it's no point. Just part of me, innit?
So although Dan's skin condition can't be cured, he'll still come to the clinic regularly.
He's getting the treatments that he'll continue for the rest of his life, and that enables him to both cope with the pain and deal with the skin.
Okay, right. Okay. Good to see you again, Daniel.
See you later.
Finally, Molly comes in for a checkup on her eczema after receiving the same treatment as Rachel a few weeks ago. She's been following a moisturising regime at home.
So Molly, I haven't seen you for 4 weeks. How's your eczema?
It's nearly gone.
Nearly gone?
Can you show me?
Yeah.
So it was bad on the knee, was it?
Yeah.
And how much better is this now?
Much better, because last time I came it was all red and it had all gone really dry.
So are there lots of different ways of treating eczema? Do you have to treat different children differently?
Yeah, and everybody's different, so what one cream will work for one person won't work for another, so unfortunately with the amount of creams there are, it is a bit of trial and error.
And with Molly, it looks like you found the right moisturising cream. And you're feeling quite good about all this.
Yeah.
How much does the average adult skin weigh? Is it as much as A, 1 fully grown pug dog, B, 2 newborn babies, or C, 3 pineapples? The answer is C. 3 pineapples weigh just under 3 kilos, and so does the average adult skin. An ordinary day in an ordinary garden. This man's making the most of the good weather. Yep, stripy deck chair, knotted handkerchief, and bright blue shoes. Yeah, cool shoes, Chris, but what's so amazing? Just you watch this. Whoa, that is stretchy. Yep, stretchy is right. This is Gary, and he has the world's stretchiest skin. That's a handy trick if you forget your sunglasses. Or that one, if you don't want to be recognised.
Doesn't hurt at all. I can just pull it away as many times as I like and just naturally stretches.
But don't go trying this yourself. Gary has actually got a rare skin condition that makes his skin this stretchy.
The reason why I've got stretchy skin is because I have a lack of collagen. It's also twice as thin as normal skin.
Collagen is a type of protein in the skin. It keeps skin flexible but strong. The collagen in Gary's skin doesn't work in the same way as yours, so he can do stuff like this.
When I stretch and see people's reactions, it's quite funny, it's quite amazing. It's enabled me to travel the world doing shows all over the place, and I've really had a great time doing it.
Wow, that's amazing.
What is the body's largest organ?
Is it A, your heart, B, your lungs, or C, your skin? The answer is C, your skin. And when you're cold, it gets covered in goosebumps. But why? Sounds like a case for Investigation Ouch.
Behind this glass, it's colder than the freezer in your kitchen. It's actually colder than the North Pole. In fact, it's colder in here than the coldest place on Earth.
That's Antarctica.
This is called a cryogenic chamber, and I'm about to get inside. That actually sounds like a terrible idea.
A cryogenic chamber is a freezing cold room used to treat common health conditions and help top athletes recover from injury, helping to repair their muscles. But today, I'm using it to find out how our bodies react in extreme cold.
That room is minus 60 degrees, and the room behind me is minus 135 degrees.
That's 5 times colder than the coldest day ever recorded in the UK.
What's it going to feel like?
Chilly.
This is Renate Zajay, and she'll be monitoring me to keep me safe when I'm in the cryogenic chamber.
So clearly I'm going to need a very warm coat to go in there.
No, just very, very small clothes, not very warm clothes.
This is it? This is all I get?
This is only that.
Perfect. What do I mean perfect? This doesn't look like nearly enough clothes. I might be cold, but at least I'm going to look stylish.
Headband, vest, shorts, 2 pairs of socks, clogs, face mask, gloves.
I told you I'd be looking good. So I've got James with me filming, but James can't come in with that camera. So I've got a special camera with me, which I can take in there. So I'm not going alone, you're coming with me. Here we go.
And it'll be so cold in there that I need the face mask to stop my snot and saliva from freezing.
Whoa. Whoa. Oh, okay. It is very cold, but it's quite manageable because it's very dry. It's also it's almost sort of foggy in here. So the room I'm in at the moment is as cold as the coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth.
But this room is just preparing my body for the next room, which is twice as cold. Minus 135, here I come.
Oh! Okay.
It's so cold in here that I can only stay in for 3 minutes, and Renato will be monitoring me the whole time to make sure I'm safe.
It's very hard to describe quite how cold this is. The closer I get to the floor, this is now very, very, very cold. It's very hard to think it's so cold, actually.
The shock to my body is making it hard to control my breathing.
I'm getting goosebumps all over my arm, and you can see every single hair on my arm is standing straight up. And the reason that's happening is that my body is trying to trap a layer of air very close to my skin. And I'm shaking a lot.
Shivering like this is my body getting my muscles moving to generate heat and keep me warm.
As my hand gets cold, you can see all the blood goes out of my skin, and now my fingertips are going absolutely white. Very, very cold indeed.
That's because as my body gets colder, it's making a choice. It's taking the blood away from the parts of my body it can do without, like my fingers and toes, and putting it into the center of my body to keep vital organs like my heart and brain alive.
I'm now coming up to almost 3 minutes. I will be very pleased to come out. That's so much better. This is like walking into an oven.
But when you're cold, you get goosebumps, and that's your skin trying to trap a layer of warm air around your body.
So what you can see from that is how important your skin is in regulating your body temperature.
And when you get extremely cold, your body starts making choices about what it wants to keep going.
Very, very, very quickly, my body takes the warm blood from my skin, brings it into the middle of my body to keep my organs warm, my brain going, all of these things. When I come out into the warm, my body immediately releases that blood, and you can see it all going to my skin.
And there's a very good reason why our bodies react like this in the cold.
If my core body temperature, that's the temperature in the middle of my body, had dropped by even 4 degrees, it could have been fatal. What's so interesting about being in a room that cold is that you can see all the incredible things your body does to keep you at exactly the right temperature.
The largest organ in our body, skin is one big protective barrier against the universe. It protects us from overheating by making us sweat, and protects us from the cold by creating goosebumps that trap a layer of warm air around us. But if you've ever spent too long in the bath, you'll have noticed something else about your skin.
Wrinkly fingers.
Now, the reason that happens is because your skin is covered in a protective layer of dead cells. When these get wet, they can absorb water and swell. Now, these dead cells are constantly being replaced.
New cells are born all the time. They rise from the lower part of your skin to the top until they die. It's those dead cells that you can see on Xand's wrinkly fingers. But even though you go wrinkly in the bath, you don't keep soaking up water like a sponge, and that's because your skin is full of natural oils which repel the water away. Those oils aren't the only way your skin repels danger, as we're about to show you.
This is liquid nitrogen.
It's nearly minus 200 degrees Celsius, which makes it one of the coldest things on Earth and a very dangerous substance.
My flowers!
Yes, sorry, Xand. The liquid nitrogen is so cold that it's frozen the water in the flowers. So let's see what happens when Xand dips his hand into it.
Did you not see what happened to the flowers?
But your hands aren't flowers.
That's true, actually. I should be able to do this, although I haven't done it before.
Okay, here goes.
Oh! It's amazing.
Was that cold?
It stings, and you can feel it's very cold.
So how come Xand's hand didn't crumble like the flowers?
I'm warm at the moment, so my body's pumping hot blood to my hand, and that hot blood boils the liquid nitrogen away from my skin and prevents it from injuring me.
And you can see that on the back of my hand, the big veins full of hot blood, and they're going to protect me. Ready?
Yeah,
It does sting. It does sting.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm okay.
So, the hot blood in my skin repels the liquid nitrogen away from my hand, stopping it from freezing.
So what we've seen is that your skin isn't just needed to keep your insides in.
It's an amazing organ which protects your body from the dangers of extreme heat or cold, making sure your body temperature remains constant and keeping you safe from harm.
How much skin will you shed in your lifetime? Is it A, enough to sprinkle on your fish and chips, B, enough to fill a 2-storey house, or C, none, or you'd look like a skeleton?
The correct answer is B. You shed 30 to 40,000 dead skin cells every minute of every day. But don't worry, your body continually makes new ones too.
What's that sound? Can you hear that buzzing sound?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Seriously, there's buzzing everywhere.
Perhaps this is a case for...
Investigation Ouch!
Yes, this is a room full of flies, and no, I haven't had a bath in weeks, but we're not going to talk about that. If you're wondering what these flies have to do with modern medicine, I'm about to tell you.
This is Kerry Jones, and he's a fly breeder. Yes, you heard right, he breeds flies.
Kerry, how many flies have you got in this room?
We've got 36,000 flies in this room.
Did you count them all?
Every single one.
And I bet he knows all of their names.
What kind of flies are they?
They're the common green bottle, same as you'd find in your house or your garden in this country.
But these flies are growing up in a completely sterile, bacteria-free environment, and they're eating a very special dinner. Mmm, yum.
What we've got here is a big box full of flies eating raw liver. Disgusting. But there is a point to it. Why?
The reason we're feeding them on raw liver is to build up their strength so they've got enough strength to lay the eggs, because it's the eggs we're interested in.
Flies lay eggs, and the eggs hatch into larvae or maggots like this one. Hello, beautiful. And it's the maggots that have a special medical use. But before we get to that, those eggs have to be harvested.
It's basically a manual process. It's removing the eggs from the liver. They're extremely small, and there will be between 10 to 20,000 eggs in each dish.
Yes, this white stuff is thousands of eggs all stuck together.
How long has this piece of liver been in there?
About 2 hours.
So in 2 hours, 600 flies have laid 20,000 eggs?
Yes.
That'd be impressive if it was chickens, wouldn't it? From these fly eggs, little worm-like larvae hatch. These are maggots.
Nice.
Now, you've probably seen maggots before, and these are the same scary maggots that you see in dead animals and in horror movies. But there's one really important difference. These maggots are sterile.
These are superhero maggots. Being completely germ-free means they can be used in hospitals for a very important job: to clean dead skin away from large wounds, allowing them to heal.
So these are nice maggots.
Kind of.
In here, there's a foot with a wound with 500 maggots in it. Let's go see them in action. Not if you're squeamish.
Prepare to look away, but not yet. This is Ros Thomas. She's a foot doctor or podiatrist, and she's going to be tackling this. It's a foot with a nasty wound on the bottom of it, and a sock, so it's still all right to look. Maggots have been on the wound for 2 days, and now it's time to see what they've done. Get ready, people.
Hopefully they've had a good feed now. Hopefully we'll see a nice clean wound.
Prepare yourself, it can look a bit icky. And there we go. Are you looking?
Cleaned up quite a bit, not completely, and they're still quite lively there. They're our little blind, legless surgeons that help to clean up all the mucky tissue.
So they're very precise surgeons.
They're very precise surgeons, yes.
Take a closer look. Although they can eat dead flesh, maggots don't have any teeth. They vomit powerful chemicals onto the wound, which dissolves dead flesh, and the maggot can then eat that, along with any bacteria that are around. And that is what makes them perfect wound cleaning machines.
It's looking so much better than it was originally, because it was completely covered with yellow, mucky tissue.
Yes, it was, but that yellow tissue was all dead flesh. So although it might look worse now, are you still looking? In fact, it's much healthier. This patient's wound has improved a lot in 2 days. But don't worry, the maggots won't eat the healthy flesh, only the dead stuff. No one's going to be eaten alive. So that's a relief.
We normally think of maggots as eating rotting things in bins, but it's this ability to just eat rotten flesh that makes them such good healers. Whereas a human surgeon might have to amputate a foot, 500 blind, tiny, legless surgeons are able to eat only the dead flesh and therefore save the foot.
Next patient, please. And it's 8-year-old Anissa with a story about her skin.
I got some different coloured patches of skin on some parts of my body.
What's the diagnosis, Doc?
Sounds to me like a case of I've got different coloured patches of skin on different parts of my body-itis.
Sounds right to me.
What we're looking at is completely normal skin that's just lost its colour. And what I think you've got is a problem called vitiligo. Vitiligo means that the cells that normally make skin dark using a chemical called melanin just aren't working anymore. They've either died or they're just not making that chemical anymore, and so those bits of skin are lighter. We don't really know all the reasons why it happens, but the good news is it's not dangerous, it's not going to do you any harm, it's just a bit noticeable around your eyes.
What can I do about it?
A lot of people respond to either light therapy on the patches or to laser therapy. It may well be that your doctors can help you treat it.
Thank you for having me.
Anissa, thank you very much for coming in today.
Job done, clinic closed. At the clinic, Xand is open for business.
Can I have the next patient, please?
First in is 8-year-old Elliot, who's had treatment for a curious condition.
Elliot, what's brought you to the Ouchmobile today?
Well, I have yellow and rough hands, and I did have a pink tongue and big red lips.
What's the diagnosis, Doc?
Sounds to me like a case of I've got yellow and rough hands and I used to have a pink tongue and red lips-itis.
Dr. Xand, it's called Kawasaki disease.
It is called Kawasaki disease, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it is a real itis, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Kawasaki disease is a very rare disease. Only about 8 in 100,000 people get it.
Kawasaki is serious, but Elliot's recovering well after treatment.
So if you look at the palm of Elliot's hand, it looks like it's a bit grubby, but that's not actually because your hands are dirty, are they? They're clean.
Yeah.
So what Elliot's got is a thing called desquamation. And that means the cells on the surface of his skin are dying more than in other people's hands. And those cells have a chemical called keratin in, and the keratin, as the cell dies, goes yellow.
How long does it last?
Normally, it lasts a few weeks, maybe a few months. It's quite common for people to have symptoms that go on longer than the illness, but in the long term, we'd expect you to make a full recovery.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for bringing Kawasaki disease to the Ouchmobile.
Thank you.
Next patient, please.
Hello, Dr. Xand.
First into the clinic is Rosie, who's asking about her arms.
So, Rosie, why have you come to the Ouchmobile?
I've got some bumpy chicken skin on my arms and I want to know why.
Sounds like a case of I've got some bumpy chicken skin on my arms-itis. Would you mind opening the eyelid for the ouch cam? That's good.
Oh yeah, look, Rosie's arm is red and bumpy.
I've had this since I was born and I don't know really much about it.
Do you know the actual name for this condition?
Keratosis pilaris.
That's right. Now, keratosis refers to the idea of keratin, which is a protein which covers your skin. And keratin is a very tough protein, so it's what fingernails are made of, it's what rhinos' horns are made of. And you can see those bits of dry skin there, all that flaky stuff, that's keratin. Now, the keratin can block pores and follicles, these little openings in your skin, and that causes bumps. It's important to say this isn't a disease or an illness. It's just a common, normal part of being a human being. Most people at some point in their life get some of it. So, Rosie, thank you very much for bringing your amazing arms to the Ouchmobile.
Thank you for having me.
At Sheffield Children's Hospital, someone has turned up after a big accident.
Let's see them get fixed. In the emergency department, 12-year-old Henry's come in with his dad. Someone looks fed up.
I can't walk. It really hurts on my bottom.
So we'd better get to the bottom of this one. Henry and his best friend Barnaby were mountain biking on some very steep trails. Henry was in front and really flying, doing nose wheelies, pop wheelies, bunny hops and drop-offs. Suddenly he found himself going really, really fast. too fast. He came to a jump and got some properly big air. As he was flying, he saw a gnarly tree looming up ahead. Oh no, Henry thought, I'm going to crash right into it. But he saved himself by bailing in mid-air. Henry pushed his bike one way and launched himself the other way. Then he landed, Superman style, right on his front. Ouch! He's got some of the best scrapes I've ever seen.
Be alright. Just not got to panic.
Correct. There's no need. Here's Dr. Chris Young.
What's been going on? I was mountain biking and jumped off my bike like a Superman pose.
Get him a cape, Dad.
Which wasn't very clever.
Right, okay, interesting.
I bet Dr. Young's never treated a superhero. What's first then, Doc?
First concern would be his neck, which obviously he's moving around quite comfortably. He doesn't have any signs of any head injury there and correctly was wearing his helmet, thankfully.
Well said, Doc.
At one point in my spine it hurts quite a lot now.
Yeah, so down is sort of in the middle, sort of down there. Okay.
Henry's now sent for an X-ray to check for possible bone damage. Dad spots something straight away.
It's a nice picture of your insides here, Henry. Did you have spaghetti bolognese for lunch?
Garlic bread? A side salad with balsamic drizzle? Yum. Look out, the doc's checking the X-rays.
This all looks nice and straight. The gaps in between look okay, and there's no obvious fracture there as well.
Ah, so that's what he was checking, not Henry's lunch.
At the moment, I'm not seeing anything that's concerning me.
So Dr. Young is happy so far. Although Henry's bones seem fine, there seems to be another problem.
That's sort of a bit strange.
It's strange, but it's not sore.
Actually, it is sore.
Okay, fine. I'm concerned about just how tender he is, so watch this space.
Could it turn out to be serious? Join us later and see what happens.
So Eugene, what's brought you to the Ouchmobile today?
Well, I've got something really itchy and annoying on my arms.
What's the diagnosis, Doc?
Sounds to me like a case of I've got something really annoying and itchy on my arms-itis.
Spot on.
So what we're looking at here is actually something called eczema.
It happens when too many skin cells are produced, and it's also a chance for Xand to show off his doctor skills.
What I can see here is xerodermia, lichenification, and excoriations. What that really means is it's just the Greek words for dry skin, itchiness, rough skin.
Yeah, okay, Xand. Anything you want to ask Eugene?
Is there anything I can do to make my eczema better?
Keeping it really well moisturised will stop it itching and keep that skin looking nice. Beyond that, avoiding itchy fabrics like wool, nylon, polyester, things like that. Apart from that, one of the things you can do is get older. So as you get older, it's likely that it'll clear up, and lots of people who have eczema when they're children don't have it when they're adults.
We're hitting part of the hospital that you haven't seen before. Today, we're in the Burns Aftercare Clinic. On Operation Ouch, we've seen our fair share of burns, scrapes, cuts, and all sorts of gory bits. But what happens afterwards? All those injuries start to heal, and often they form scars on your skin.
Look at this. Last week, I accidentally burnt my arm on the cooker. Now, your body's really good at repairing itself, and this has already started to heal. But if it had been a more serious burn, that could leave a scar, and that would require careful treatment.
When you injure yourself, the body heals the wound with scar tissue. This looks and feels quite different to normal skin. It's not as strong or flexible, and the bigger and deeper the injury, the bigger the scar. I'm on duty with scar and burn specialist Kevin Ryan to check up on some of the patients he's treating. First in is Holly, who took a bit of a tumble 5 months ago. If you're squeamish, get ready to look away.
So Holly, what happened? Why are you here?
There was a tree stump on a hill and I fell over it.
So can I see what happened? That's 1 month later, and the skin's already starting to heal, but there's a lot of this pus and infection there. And then this is now 5 months later, and you can see it's all healed, and there's a bit of scar, but that's going to keep getting better and better, isn't it?
Holly is being fitted with a special stocking that will help the scar continue to improve.
Because Holly's wound took a long time to heal, the scar is more severe, if you like.
Yes.
And so by making a little stocking that presses on that, it'll get a flatter, nicer result. Is that right?
That's what we're hoping for.
Next in is Jensen, having a checkup on a burn he got over 4 weeks ago.
Jensen, can you tell us the story of how this happened?
The pie dropped on my leg.
You dropped a pie on your leg. What type of pie was it?
Cheese and onion.
Cheese and onion pie.
What would have concerned us would it been had he had any raised lumpy scarring that would have contracted and pulled in, but it isn't. That's beautifully soft, nice and soft and supple, so that shouldn't cause him any problems at all. In terms of the pinkness, that would be there for several weeks, if not several months, but it will fade eventually.
So if I press on it,
yeah,
I can make the pinkness go away,
Yes.
and then that's the blood flowing back.
Exactly.
But those blood vessels aren't quite normal, are they? That's
No,
part
they're
of the
not.
healing
That's
process.
right, it is. They're very fragile at the moment, they are. But they do improve. It just takes time, it just takes several months for that to resolve.
Ben had an accident 5 months ago. Stand by, because this isn't for the faint-hearted. And unfortunately, his burn injury got infected. To help it heal fully, the doctors took a patch of skin from his thigh to cover the injured part of his foot. This is called a skin graft.
So what happened? Why are you in Burns Clinic today?
I was making Mum and Dad a coffee. I had a music player with me that I carried downstairs and put on the side while I was waiting for the kettle to boil. And because I had no pockets, I just thought of a quick way to carry it upstairs, and I just put it under my chin.
How were you holding it all?
I was holding it like that.
And then what happened?
So I was like looking down, and I just wanted to lift my head up to see where I was going.
So you dropped the music player and spilled hot coffee all over your foot?
Yeah.
Oh dear, but for Ben, the question now is whether he can go swimming again.
Should we have a look then?
Yeah.
And we'll give you your answer.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great. That's beautifully soft. I can't feel any signs of thickening there. That's just what we want. It's now fully healed.
I thought this was going to look much more serious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's such a good result.
In terms of swimming, I think yes, no problem.
Brilliant.
That's brilliant news, brilliant news.
Although the scars may not ever go away fully, thanks to these treatments, it means that life can get back to normal for these three. Swimming for Ben, gymnastics for Holly, and cold pies only for Jensen.
Our next patient's day has taken an unexpected turn.
Oh, I do like an unexpected turn.
And they've ended up in A&E.
In Accident and Emergency, 5-year-old Ayushi has come in with a cut eyebrow.
Oh no! What happened?
Picture the scene, Xand. A football stadium full of cheering fans, the crowd going nuts.
Wow, did I just spot a cashew?
Xand, world-class football was being played on the pitch, and running up and down the touchline was Ayushi.
Ooh, is she a linesman?
No, Xand.
Ooh, is she warming up to replace Harry Kane?
No, Xand. She was chasing her friend Mohammed along the touchline when someone kicked the ball and it hit her on the head.
Ouch!
The question is, did she catch Mohammed?
No, he was fat.
Oh well, you can't win them all.
Here to have a nose at Ayushi's noggin is Dr. Edward Snelson.
Come on in, have a seat.
But Ayushi's having far too much fun for that.
The fact Ayushi is playing is a good sign, but the doctor needs to do further checks.
So, can I have a look at the bump on your head? Can you close your eyes very tight for me? And then open them really wide.
Don't go to sleep, Ayushi.
Open your eyes. That's very good. And can you have a little look at my finger over there? And look at it up there. All the way over here. All the way there and down there. She seems completely well. I'm not concerned about her from a head injury point of view. Now, the cut is only the top part of the skin. It doesn't go all the way down.
Okay.
So because of that, it's almost certainly not going to need stitches.
Your skin is made up of layers of skin cells, fat, tissue, and blood cells.
The deeper the cut, the more layers get damaged.
Minor cuts only affect the top layer. That's what's happened to Ayushi's eyebrow.
The skin needs to come back together so that it doesn't produce a nasty scar.
So, Ayushi's cut is treated by Nurse Becky. But it's not her wound that Ayushi is worried about.
Is it a sticker?
Who doesn't want a sticker? I do.
A few steri strips later, and Ayushi is all patched up.
There we go, perfect. All stuck together. What do you say now?
Thank you.
No problem.
Have we forgotten something? The sticker.
I haven't forgotten your sticker. There we go.
All stickered up and raring to go, Ayushi's off.
Bye!
Let's head back to Accident and Emergency.
Go on.
For another curious case.
Go on.
Well, In Accident and Emergency, 7-year-old Jago is in with his mum. Go on.
I cut my head.
Right, how'd that happen?
I had feet on my chair and I fell back.
Go on.
I leaned back because it took a long time to fall. I tried to lean forward, but it was heavy on me, so it tilted backwards.
OK, well, let's find out more. Jago and his pal Xander were waiting patiently to play a game of squash, but they soon got bored and started climbing on their seats. Ooh, I bet they were pretending to be mountain goats, Chris. Dangerous. Or clowning around in the circus. Even more dangerous. Or maybe they were on a spacewalk. No, Xand. Jago's seat tipped backwards and he bashed his head on the wall. Ouch!
Yeah, I started screaming.
Quite dramatic.
Examining Jago's bash bonds is Dr. Helen Stewart. First, Dr. Stewart does some tests to make sure that Jago's brain is functioning correctly. Good reflexes, Jago. Brain's good, but what about that noggin?
Sorry, that's your hair. I'm just...
Yes, my hair.
After some of Jago's hair is removed, the doc can finally see the wound.
That's actually quite deep. He's got a cut that's about 1.5 centimetres in length, but the edges are quite straight and come together quite nicely. So it's quite deep, so I thought it might need a stitch, but actually we'll probably be able to glue the wound shut.
There's a red bloody bit there.
Nice hair, Jago.
It's like werewolf hair.
Werewolf hair?
Stop it.
Fixing Jago's head is Sister Anna Cowlishaw.
And quick clean, and then we'll stick it back together with glue.
Quick snap for the family album. Look away if you're squeamish. The edges of Jago's wound are held together, and a few spots of special skin glue are applied.
Has it closed?
You're done.
Let's have a look. Great job, Sister Anna.
Jago can go home now, and his head will be better in about 5 days.
And what has Jago learned?
Not climbing on the back of a chair.
Sounds like a really good lesson, yeah.
You said it, Mum. Bye.
Bye.
We'll see you next time for more Operation Ouch! Does anybody want to smell my armpits?
Do you want to smell my armpits? Free sweat smelling here.
Can I tempt you? A little whiff?
Anyone? Anyone?
Don't seem to be having much luck for some reason.
Sweat. It might seem a bit yucky, but everybody does it. Sweating is what your body does when you get too hot. And when that sweat evaporates, it takes heat away from your body and prevents your internal organs from overheating. So it's actually pretty wonderful stuff. I'm not sure why nobody wants to smell mine. There are two types of sweat glands, eccrine and apocrine. Eccrine are the most common. You have over 2 million of them all over your body. Apocrine glands are only in particular places like your groin and under your arms. They produce a different type of sweat that is rich in protein and fatty acids. They only become active during, you guessed it, puberty.
When your apocrine glands start working, it changes how you sweat.
And this lot are going to help me show you what that means. First, we're going to need a sample. In fact, 2 samples. One sample is made up of a group of 8-year-olds who haven't started puberty yet. The other sample is made up of 14-year-olds who are slap bang in the middle of it.
And what I need from all of you now is sweat. Are you ready? Yeah! Right, let's go.
For the next half hour, I'm getting both squads to train as hard as they can and sweat as much as possible.
What we're looking for here is real work. It's not a race between the 2 teams. We want quality, because quality means sweat. Ben, you sweating yet?
Yeah.
Yeah? That's good.
After 30 minutes, I'm satisfied that both teams will have sweated enough. It's time to collect all the sweaty shirts into separate bags.
Now, we've got our samples. The squads don't know which shirts are in which bag, so let's see which smells worse. One at a time, you're going to smell each bag and tell me which you think smells worse.
Bag A is from the younger team and bag B is from the teenagers. Which one do you think will smell worse?
Get right in there.
That one.
Is it really disgusting? Huh.
That one.
What does this one smell of?
Like of vinegar.
I say this one.
You think that one smells worse?
This one.
And what do you think this one smells of?
Rotten cheese.
Rotten cheese.
Oh, that one.
Do you think this is your team? Or do you think the 8-year-olds are smellier than you?
Yeah.
Big breath in, Ben. Really?
I smell my own armpits when they stink, bro.
So which of you thought that bag B was the smelliest? Yeah, all except 2. That's 12-2 to bag B. Now, this was the bag from the older ones. So I think you're absolutely right. This definitely should have been the smelliest one. Now, do you know why?
Because they're older.
Because they're older, that's right. And when you get older, you get different kinds of sweat glands. They're called apocrine glands. They make different sorts of sweat. It's got more chemicals in, which gets broken down by bacteria. So what you're really smelling in here is bacteria poo. There you go. You're the one smelling it, not me. I haven't smelled it.
Smell it! Smell it!
Oh, no! Oh!
Remember, all sweat is completely normal, even the smelly variety, and you can make sure you don't stay smelly by washing yourself and your clothes regularly.
Speaking of washing, guys, you better not forget to wash all your kits. Guys?